coming up in 2025 on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's going up.
That's what I want.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
Okay. Can you tell me what you mean about, you said that your insecurities come up more when there's someone you're more invested in?
Mm-hmm.
Can you help me understand what kind of insecurities you're talking about?
Yeah, so specifically probably, and I've watched a couple of your incel videos as well. And I think having to explain to somebody that, you know, I haven't been in a relationship in a while, that's something that I worry might pop up when I get more invested with somebody that I might like, actually. That's one of them. Another one might be just fear of being judged for, even though like on my metric, and what doesn't help somehow reversely is my friends telling me that like, oh, you're so great, or, you know, my family going, oh, you're so great, somebody would be lucky to have you. And I'm like, oh yeah, great, thanks for that. So why don't I have anybody? Like, it's very much a self-inflicted thing maybe, but it's definitely that feeling of either being not good enough on some level that I can't understand, or it's the having to explain to somebody that, hey, you know, like, I've been working on myself, but maybe that's just an excuse for why I've been alone. Maybe I've been alone for other reasons that I can't understand and that somebody else might see.
Trend, do you feel ready for a relationship?
Definitely. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
No.
Because
no, you don't. Not thinking about yourself like that. No. Ah, man, we got to do this topic tonight, man. It's important. And I do feel sorry for the guy that was talking. Again, Krishnamurti said it best. The enemy is you, not the other. So that leads us to tonight's topic. Being your worst enemy is the same as being your greatest teacher. But you must allow yourself to be your worst enemy. You must recognize, I should say, the enemy within. You must be able to see the enemy within. He outlined something that was quite interesting. And it's something I've been talking about for a long time. It's very easy for people to share deep secrets and feelings, with someone there where there's low stakes. Meaning, you're not going to take advantage of me. You're not going to hurt me. There's low stakes. Being vulnerable with someone who are, low stakes is pretty easy to do. You feel comfortable. You can share whatever. Now, the high stakes relationships are those relationships where you get triggered, where your partner is mirroring you. These are high stakes, right? Oh my God, if they find out that I'm fearful, avoidant. Oh, if they find out that I'm dismissive, oh, they're going to judge me. Do you get what I'm saying? So, and these are typically the people that we're attracted to, the people that we're interested in, but people we're not interested in, people we're not attracted to, you could say those are low stake relationships, and you get to talk and you don't feel like you're going to be judged because it's not going to matter, right? But if you like someone, you tend to try to obfuscate or obscure, your internal challenges. Do you see? Tonight's topic, being your worst enemy, is the same as being your greatest teacher. There's so much you can learn from yourself. And this is like a continuation from yesterday's show when we were talking about the shadow, the dark side. Many people are afraid of walking that path because it is a path of pain. The paradox of self-sabotage, why fighting yourself leads to breakthroughs. Listen, the paradox of self-sabotage, why fighting yourself can lead to breakthroughs. You've heard me say on numerous shows, how many self-wins do you have? Boy, don't you hate being judged by somebody who has zero self-wins, but they seem to know your character and who you are and what you're about and how you're not a fit. Are you listening? What did Kendrick say? I hate it when brothers are. What did he say? I hate it when brothers are battling and they both broke, or I hate it when they arguing. I don't want to use the profanity that he used in the TV off record. I hate it when and they both broke, and they both garden tools. You know what he said? Distinguishing self-critique from self-sabotage, right? Right. Object permanence and emotional resilience and self-reflection. The role of vulnerability in overcoming self-imposed limitations. How might individuals differentiate between self-critiques that aid internal growth and self-sabotage that perpetuate suffering? Ugh. In what ways do unresolved childhood wounds influence patterns of self-doubt and self-sabotage? How does recognizing object permanence help individuals understand the motives behind their actions and those of others? Now, many people may not know what object permanence is. Basically, when you can't see something, the person who suffers from a lack of object permanence, or suffers from object permanence, I should say, is when they can't see it, it's like it doesn't exist. It's not real. It's only real when they can see it. So a lot of people may be anxious attachers, right? Somebody who is anxious preoccupied attachment might, if my partner doesn't text me, or if my partner doesn't call me, or if my partner doesn't reassure me, then my partner really isn't into me. That's emotional object permanence, right? Many people, suffer from that. And I think this is the old euphemism, out of sight, out of mind, right? That's object permanence, just a fancy way of saying it. Let me read the question again now. 1-800-920-1580. How does recognizing object permanence help individuals understand the motives behind their actions and those of others? How can vulnerability, when embraced, lead to greater personal accountability and relational trust? These are some heavy questions, man. Some very heavy questions. What is the role of spiritual infancy in avoiding accountability? The hidden costs of avoiding self-awareness. A case for embracing inner conflict. 1-800-920-1580. The enemy is you. Krishnamurti said it. Do you often view yourself as an enemy? If not, why? Why do you not see yourself? Why are we not conditioned to see ourselves as the problem? Why is everybody else the problem? Yes, external folk, people can be problems. Absolutely. Right? But why do we tend to avoid responsibility for the co-creation of relational experiences that we ultimately begin to loathe? Why don't we take responsibility for that? Why is that such a difficult thing? Tonight, we're trying to deal with it. How does avoiding self-awareness reflect an unconscious attempt to minimize personal accountability? So the less self-aware I am, the less responsible I am for my experience. Listen, a lot of men do that. I'm not saying women don't do it. Yes, it's bidirectional. Everybody broken. Everybody's a work in progress. Everybody's a whip. Everybody does it. Yes. But as a man, I've seen it. What we tend to do is hide behind the performance of showing up when we're interested. But when it comes to breaking down these internal walls that we've built to protect ourselves, many men are very afraid to walk that, right? To walk that walk. And we will engage in avoiding self-awareness. Yes, and as a man, I've experienced women who do it too. But as a man, I know we approach it in a different way. We are providers and protectors, and we are judged by our ability to show up in her life in a positive way. Right? Bob Marley. Don't disturb that woman's peace unless you're going to do something, like unless you're going to be there. Okay, so men come in performing. But I think many of us have gotten so used to performing that self-awareness probably isn't that important, right? And what happens is we get aware of what we do. We're acutely aware of what we do. We're hyper aware of what we do for others, right? Did not show up, did not provide, did not protect, wasn't not there, blah, that's our resume. But what I'm here to say is your real resume is the cultivation of self-awareness. That's your real resume. And this is why I'm asking, how many self-wins do you have? What demons have you conquered? You can only discover the demon through self-awareness, right? How self-aware are you? I'm not talking about what you do for others. I'm talking about what you've done for yourself. How many self-wins do you have? In what ways might emotional transparency foster stronger, healthier relationships? Listen, that's a hard one for me. I struggle with emotional transparency. Sometimes I just be like, I don't want to talk about it. Have you ever taken that deep breath after you say you don't want to talk about it? No, I don't want to talk about it. Okay. Being your worst enemy is the same thing as being your greatest teacher. The things you do to sabotage and break down your relationships are actually the curriculum you need to study in order to stop doing it. And it goes both ways, men and women. That is the curriculum. What you're doing to sabotage must be studied objectively with empathy in order to devise a plan to do the opposite, to do something different, to do something more productive. Oh, this is going to be deep. Avoiding self-awareness often stems from a fear of confronting unresolved traumas or insecurities. True or false? I want to know what you think. Right? The role of spiritual infancy. Avoiding accountability, emotional transparency, and its impact on relationship dynamics. Overcoming the fear of judgment through radical self-honesty. How does avoiding self-awareness reflect an unconscious attempt to minimize personal accountability? In what ways might emotional transparency foster stronger, healthier relationships? What strategies can help individuals confront the fear of judgment without retreating into defensiveness? How does the concept of spiritual infancy relate to the avoidance of personal growth? Yes, there are people out there who are avoiding personal growth. That's what makes the enemy in me. Oh, man. What role does self-compassion play in navigating inner conflicts and fostering resilience? Avoiding self-awareness often stems from a fear of confronting unresolved childhood traumas. Dr. David Bohm, theoretical physicist, concept as a means of understanding his concept of dialogue as a means of understanding can serve as a tool for deepening self-reflection. Emotional transparency encourages authenticity in relationships, reducing the likelihood of codependent dynamics. Are you guys ready to have a conversation about the inner teacher? How self-doubt unveils your true potential? When we come forward, the voice of reason is going to dig even deeper, and I'm opening up the phone lines. Let's get busy.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do
Let's play something, Grandma.
became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SNAP to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SNAP for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SNAP for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hear the drums echoing tonight, and she hears only whispers of some quiet conversation. She's coming in 12:30 flight. The moonlit wings reflect the stars that guide me towards salvation. I stopped an old man along the way, hoping to find some old forgotten words or ancient melodies. He turned to me as if to say, hurry boy, it's waiting there for you. It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do.
Your greatest teacher is your last mistake, right? That's the power of going out there and making mistakes. And here's the thing, a lot of people won't be willing to make mistakes, including trying to learn something brand new, like a speed reading, because they're fear of messing up and not being perfect at something, right? And they feel that that can be successful. But you know in your life, whether it's your career, whether it's your health or relationship or anything, that if failure is not an option, then neither is success. That the ultimate quest in life really is to reach our fullest potential, to express that potential, to be able to share that potential with others. And I know this because you're here, right? You're here because at some area there's a gap between where you are and where you know deep down you could be. So why do you want to be able to learn this? Why must you learn this? And the third question I ask when I'm reading something is, when will I use this? So 3 questions. How can I use this? Why must I use this? When will I use this? 3 powerful questions that lead to something which I think the number one productivity performance tool there is your calendar. Because a lot of you say you want to work out, or you want to meditate, or you want to do this self-care, and you know self-love and self-care is not selfish, and you know all this stuff, but how does your daily calendar reflect that? Do you know what I mean?
Let's go even deeper. He was cooking with the rarest grease. Listen, if you trust other people more than you trust yourself, you are an enemy to yourself. I know you don't want to hear it put that way, but guess what? Truth is truth. That's what Jesus used to say when he come in and, into a room and the disciples are there. He would say, verily, verily, I say unto thee, verily, very, veritas, truth. In Hebrew, hak, el hak, el hak. Verily, verily, I say unto you, truth is truth. Do you know our relationships are designed to seek people that we trust more than we trust ourselves? You got to remember Carl Jung. People do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid looking at themselves, right? So I don't want to look at me. I don't trust me with all parts of me. So now I'm going to put the onus of trust on my partner. My partner has to show up and supplement the trust I lack in myself. Didn't I tell you trust was fear-based? Most people don't understand that. I need to trust that you won't hurt me. Right? I need to trust that you won't disappoint me. Right? Fear-based. So here I am hoping that you won't hurt or disappoint or leave me unsatisfied or whatever, right? Right. That's a lot to put on another work in progress, especially if it's an inside job. Trust is fear-based. If I come out of a dysfunctional home, if I have an insecure attachment style, I trust that my partner will fulfill all my needs. Most of the meaningful needs that you have are all inside jobs, right? So look at how society has flipped, right? Our relationships and the way we evaluate. You trust other people more than you trust yourself. That is a sign that you are an enemy to yourself. You give yourself anxiety because you value other people's comfort over your own. Enemy to yourself. You create unrealistic demands of yourself and wonder why you've always failed. Enemy of yourself. Listen, you identify with your thoughts. I'm going to go deeper. I promise. We got a lot to talk about. Callers are starting to get in here. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me. 1-800-920-1580. Remember, it's a dialogue, not a monologue. Let's get busy.
Above the Serengeti, I seek to cure what's deep inside, frightened of this thing that I've become.
He's on fire tonight. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know from BIN News. Bonnie Willis has been removed from the Georgia election case against President-elect Trump. Trump has consistently predicted this would happen.
See, when the system works, it's a beautiful thing, but she's been exposed. I can't imagine they can continue on with that case.
A state appellate court removed the Black Fulton County DA from Trump's 2020 election interference case on Thursday. Luigi Mangione appeared in federal court in New York, charged with the December 4th murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. His attorneys have not requested bail at this time. Black North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson's campaign has agreed to a $35,000 fine for campaign finance violations from 2019. The Friends of Mark Robinson committee paid the fine on December 10th following a state audit. And Black Maryland Governor Wes Moore has issued an order to modernize procurement processes, enhance contract management, and increase opportunities for small and disadvantaged businesses. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Hello? You gotta get your story straight. What an idiot. Get it through your noodle. Don't give a rat's behind. That's baloney.
A new era begins.
And I'm just getting started.
Judy Justice.
Check your local listing to watch Judy Justice. Out now.
Somebody bring out the confetti, baby! Starting Monday, January 6th, KBLA Talk 1580 has a new midday lineup.
I'm excited.
Are you ready for Tavis Smiley, Dr. Cornel West, Jesse Jackson Jr., D.L. Hughley, and E. Quarterly Corte back-to-back?
Oh, my God.
Are you really ready for all this smoke?
I'm ready, brother.
Yes, we still have Dominique DePrima in the mornings and Zoe Williams in the evenings, but middays just got lit on KBLA Talk 1580.
We on fire.
All across America, people are talking about our new midday lineup. Starting Monday, January 6th, our KBLA 1580 app downloads are on fire because everybody's going to be tuning in.
Yes, I love you guys. You are the bomb.
Now would be a good time to hit up SMB at KBLA1580.com if you want folks to hear about your business or brand. That's SMB at KBLA1580.com. It's going up in 2025 on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's going up.
That's what I want.
Whether you're going over the river and through the woods in the capable Silverado 1500 getting the choir to church on time in the 3-row Traverse.
Thank you.
Or driving cross town to deliver your famous Cajun-spiced holiday turkey in the Equinox EV. America's most affordable EV with a 315-plus mile range. Add confidence to every holiday adventure and get it done with a rugged and capable Chevy truck or SUV. Now, during Red Tag, get 0% APR financing for 36 months on select Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Offer available on all 2025 Equinox and 2024 Equinox EV, Blazer EV, and Silverado EV models. Monthly payment is $27.78 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment is 26.8%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 1/2/25.
Thank you.
Helping to broaden your political and moral imagination with our 2024 Climate Justice Campaign. We're KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. The Live Your Life organization mentors young women, helping them break negative mindsets and see beyond their surroundings. Through career exposure and hands-on training, they're encouraged to think big, stay focused, and make positive choices. Founded by Nikisha Mama Boo Smith, who transformed her life to become a community leader. Live Your Life is changing lives, but they need your help. They're raising funds to keep their new building open and expand their programs. Your donations will support food, clothes, hygiene products, and holiday giveaways. Visit liveyourlife32.com. That's LIVEYOLIFE32.com to help today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
See the curtains hanging in the window in the evening on a Friday night. Little light is shining through the window, lets me know everything's alright. Summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the jasmine in my mind.
Complex trauma survivors, those who have anxious attachment, and those who have borderline personality disorder all lack the same thing, and that's emotional permanence. What is emotional permanence? Best illustrated with object permanence. You have an object. When you can't see the object, is it still there? Like, for instance, if I cover it like this, is the object still there? Is it still there? Yeah, it's still there, right? Generally, it's still there even if you can't see it. That's object permanence, is that understanding that it's still there even when you can't see it. It's the same thing with emotional permanence. When you have an emotion, such as you have a family member or a friend that cares for you, even when they're not texting you and they're not calling you, you still recognize that they still care for you. Even when they're a little bit upset with you or they're not talking to you right now, you still understand that they still care for you. So despite the fact that the vibe can seem to change based on the circumstances changing, there's a permanence to how they feel in your mind that is object permanence, and it's what you lack when you have borderline or complex trauma or anxious attachment. Likewise, you lack permanence of your own emotions. So it doesn't occur to you that you can just be happy, and despite the fact that things are going to happen throughout the day that are unpleasant, like you stubbing your toe or you getting into a car accident or the restaurant not having your favorite dish, you can still have that same happiness even though there's a moment of frustration, a moment of even anger, or a moment of sadness. But the happiness is...
The brother was cooking. I want to know how you self-sabotage. I want to know how you're your greatest enemy, while at the same time, paradoxically speaking, you're your greatest teacher. The paradox of self-sabotage resides in its duality. It acts as both an adversary and as a profound instructor. To explore this dynamic requires a willingness to confront the darker recesses of human behavior and thought. The concept that being your own worst enemy equates to being your greatest teacher challenges traditional narratives of self-improvement, pushing the boundaries of what we deem productive or harmful. On tonight's topic, as we bring in the callers, we're going to examine the philosophical, the psychological, and the spiritual dimensions of this paradox. You understand? It's going to be deep. I want you guys to understand, don't be afraid. It's good to have an adversarial self, which is often a misunderstood ally. When you challenge yourself, I can do better. Why? Because I know I have infinite capacity. Do you see? I know I haven't reached my full capacity. How do I hold myself back? What limiting beliefs do I have? What is the narrative I'm saying to myself? A critical mindset offers constructive self-reflection, while an adversarial approach fosters self-doubt and unnecessary suffering. How often do individuals misinterpret helpful critiques as personal failures, conflating self-awareness with low self-esteem? Distinguishing between these states allows one to leverage the adversarial self as a tool for growth rather than a source of harm. Do you see? It's about to get deep. Are y'all ready? 1-800-920-1580. Let's get busy. Let's get busy. We got callers on the line. Let's see who's ready to go. Dorothea from Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome in. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you fine. How are you today?
Okay. I'm doing good, Zoe. How are you?
I am alive and well, still kicking. Hopefully this show is a good show and you're getting something out of it.
Yeah, it's really resonating with me, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It's me and my husband just had this conversation earlier today.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you mind telling us a little bit about it? You don't have to put his name out there. You could just give us the overview.
Well, this show saved our marriage. We've been married for 14 years.
Wow.
And he was on your show way before me. And I was this topic. I was no self-awareness, no accountability, really spiritually an infant, you know, a little girl. You know, spiritually, of course, but age-wise, I was a woman in my mind. But over the years, just recently, my daughter is 2.5 years old, and I had this awakening where I felt like I had to be better. So I had a traumatic experience growing up, and me and my husband rode down the street, and I started to have a panic attack down the street that I grew up on. And I wasn't understanding what was going on. I started to, you know, just trip out. So my husband kind of rubbed my hand, told me to take some deep breaths, which I did for a couple minutes. And I just looked over, and everything started to come in my mind where I'm like, wow, that's where I got molested. That's where this happened. That's what that happened. And then eventually I started to relax. So when we started to drive down the street, made a left, and at that moment, I wanted to call everybody. I'm sorry. Hey, I should have handled it this way. I should have did this. And I felt like, okay, I know what I'm here for. I need to break these generational curses. And everything changed for me then.
Well, let me just say this. I love you for calling, and I love you for the transparency. My goodness. Listen, sometimes, I mean, let me just say this. You're not a spiritual child. Let me just say this. When you've been traumatized, right, that doesn't make you a spiritual child. When you know you got to do the work and you refuse to do the work, that makes you spiritually childish. When you get to a certain level of consciousness, you start to understand there's a purpose, a rhyme, and a reason for everything, even though I don't know what it is. But once you start to realize that the universe is divinely tuned, there are lessons that come out of that. When you realize, man, yes, this terrible thing happened to me, but guess what? I'm not the thing that happened to me. I don't have to identify with what happened to me. Do you see what I'm saying? Right. Oh, I can take what happened to me and repurpose it. Do you see what I'm saying? And help other people who have been through something similar. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, so I don't see you as a spiritual child. It's childish when people run from it. This is why I'm saying they big up their inner enemy, right? I'm gonna fight against it. I'm not gonna use this enemy and repurpose it and make it into an ally. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna remain an enemy of myself, and I'm gonna wait till somebody comes along and helps me. That's spiritual immaturity, and you have exhibited none of that. Not in my estimation in this short call. And then you got the man. Yeah. The man walked with you as you grew up.
Yeah, he waited on me.
Come on. That's a good dude right
now,
there.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
You know, I am very grateful for you. But I had to, he couldn't make me see. I had to see it when it was time for me to see it.
Right. You got to see it yourself. You got to, and that's spiritual maturity right there. You can't make nobody see nothing. You can't make people willing. You can't make people understanding. You can't force people to want to participate. You have to just pull back and let them live life, and life will keep showing them things. That's why the old folk used to say, keep living. Just keep living. You'll see it.
Yeah. And now it all makes sense.
Yeah. Dorothea, Guess what you just did, child?
I brought Atlanta in the building.
You see, I'm from Chattanooga. We just 2 hours up the road. Girl, you brought Atlanta, Georgia in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call us at 1-800-920-1580. The show is about to take off. Phone lines is cracking. Let's get it.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Have you heard of the 50-30-20 rule? This can help you spend and save your money wisely. So, how does it work? Distribute your dollars into 3 buckets. 50% towards needs, 30% towards your wants, and 20% goes to savings. Use this tool to help your journey to financial success. Sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
Many homeowners and businesses use man-made stone as an alternative to traditional stone for their countertops. Handling these products puts workers' lives at risk. Without proper conditions, workers could die from the terminal lung disease silicosis. Employers must supply respiratory protection and water systems. It's essential to wet stone when cutting it to prevent breathing in dust. Do away with dusty, deadly practices. Visit WorkSafeWithSilica.org. This is a message from Cal OSHA.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
He came from somewhere back in her long ago. The sound of the fool don't see, trying hard to recreate what had yet to be created. Once in her life, she musters a smile for his nostalgic tale. Never coming near what he wanted to say, only to realize it never really was. She had a place in his life. He never made her think twice.
I watch many people in fear. Their minds, their brain is not active, is not agile, fresh, young. It's a kind of disease that eats into one's mind, into one's heart, into one's whole being. And if we don't understand the disease, but are only concerned with the curing of it, then we're just playing with each other. So that's why I ask, if I may, most respectfully always, do we really want to go into it? Are we deeply concerned with the resolution of it?
Man, Krishnamurti. You know, people think we compartmentalize people like Krishnamurti and Pema Chodron and all these spiritual minds. We compartmentalize. Oh, there's a time and a place for all of that. But really, that is what he talks about is the core of our ability, or lack thereof, to relate. And so we view the deeper things of relationship as a vacation. Like, oh, I'll go do that when I have time, when I have leisure time. But did you know that that's why you're alive? To understand those deep truths about relating, about yourself, about that internal enemy? Self-sabotage as a teacher reveals the hidden architecture of unresolved trauma and attachment wounds. Chris Niebauer's work on the neuroscience of self-perception suggests that habitual self-doubt often reflects unconscious programming from early childhood experiences. How do childhood attachments shape our tendencies to self-destruct? Recognizing these patterns allows us to rewrite the narratives that perpetuate them. I've always told you, you're not an adult until you become the owner of your own pen of self-authorship. Self-authorship. You have to be the owner of that pen. That pen is owned by someone else when you're still living out the model or the mode you modeled. Right? That's why I say the greatest breakup you'll ever have is with your parents. What they taught you. Right? What you modeled in their environment. Remember, they are works in progress themselves. So they weren't complete. How do childhood attachments shape our tendencies to self-destruct? It's such a powerful question. Societal conditioning can exacerbate self-judgment, right? Cultural narratives valorize productivity and perfection while stigmatizing vulnerability, creating an internal conflict between authenticity and acceptance. Pema Chodron's teachings on compassion offer an anecdote emphasizing that self-acceptance rather than self-criticism fosters true growth. Relational implications to all of this. Like, this is real stuff. Like, this is the stuff we should wake up wanting and longing for. No, we are longing for someone to fill those holes that we have never excavated. We have never gone in and dug it out and said, hey, where did this come from? No, we say there's a hole. That's somebody else's responsibility to fill. That is how I judge a good person, if they can fill all my holes. Now, mind you, I don't know how the holes were created because I refuse to accept it. I refuse to acknowledge it. I don't want to deal with it. I'll have somebody else deal with it because that's a great relationship, right? Right? Here we go. Somebody in the chat said, pause. Do you hear them? This is philosophical talk. We got callers on the line. Let's get some folk in here. Who been on the longest? Attila from Houston, Texas. Attila, what are your thoughts about tonight's topic?
Listen, this is a good one. This is good. I'm liking it. You know what it makes me think of? When you say, like, you can't convince an unwilling ear, and me being a Taurian, and how hard it is to convince us to do anything. For me, I feel like those are the moments when I actually am willing, is when I become my worst enemy. Like at a certain point, you're like, I just got to stop because this is getting to be too much. And one thing I wrote in the chat, I was saying, like, you know, you don't want to forget anxiety. That for me, like, man, when I'm like in an anxious state, it's like a spiral. And so it's quite interesting because that sometimes is the only way that I feel spirit can really get my attention.
Ooh, is anxiety is through. Ooh, that's a heavy bar right there. But how do you get out of it though?
I've been doing a lot of meditating, but I think something else that has really helped me is just, and you said this to me one time when we were on the phone. You were telling me, you were like, you know, well, what can you do about it? And I was like, dang, it's so simple, but it's true. Like, what can I do about it? Like, literally nothing. So I think having to really come back and center myself in a way that is still respectful is something that I'm working on, because it's hard to center yourself when you've been disrespectful to yourself for so long, right? Like, the self-talk is just not giving. It's going to be something that's negative, which further causes you to spiral. So I've had to really work on, don't say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally talking to myself. Don't say that. Be nicer. Be kinder, right? Recontextualize it.
This is what we're going to do. We're going to hold you because you said something that sparked something. We can do something about anxiety. When we come forward, we're going back to Houston, Texas to talk anxiety with my niece. Here we go.
Anybody else would surely know. He's watching her go.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 Things You Should Know from BIN News. Fonnie Willis has been removed from the Georgia election case against President-elect Trump. Trump has consistently predicted this would happen.
See, when the system works, it's a beautiful thing.